Hey guys, I thought I would share my grocery store haul with you guys today because we're doing things a little bit differently and I thought you might be interested. No, once again, have not done my hair today, not done my makeup today because we're gonna go back in the woods and go huckleberry picking again. So hat it is, and simplicity is what I'm embracing this week. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the things that I picked up today. So I am going to go ahead and put these frozen things in the freezer. We didn't really get a whole lot of cold things. Fortunately, the cow that we get the raw milk from had her baby and we are back in milk. So I'm super excited about that. But I did go ahead and pick up mozzarella. I bought another thing of sour cream so that we can get our sour cream, homemade sour cream going. And in fact, I already did that. I'll show you. So I just took the leftover cream from last week's milk and I put in some of this fresh sour cream, just probably a quarter cup to a half a cup of that. And so we'll have fresh sour cream in like 24 to 48 hours. My mom's been eating food here so much that I thought, because she's been helping out so much, I thought I'd buy something special for her. And she loves these little baby shrimp and cucumber on a salad. So we're going to have that this week. But the rest of the things for that salad are going to come from our farm. I bought some chicken nugget patties because that's my son's favorite and he has been asking for ages. So I finally gave in. And then I went ahead and stocked up on butter. So I'm going to show you the rest of the things here in a second after I put those cold things away. And we'll talk about what my plan is. All right. You know I can't have a conversation without a cup of tea. So cheers, grab your tea, and let's chat. I think everyone has felt at this point the pinch and the changing of time since, great 2020. And I'm really thankful that we were pretty settled on our farm. We were really settled in our homeschool routine before all of the craziness kind of broke out that year. And we were really prepared enough that we didn't have to go to the store very much. And we had already started building what I call our living pantry. And I feel like because of that, my kids and I think we went to the store like 2 times in that entire year. It was pretty amazing. We went ahead and just sent my husband to the store. That way we could just keep the kids not sheltered, but away from people who are feeling so fearful. People don't do very smart things when they feel fear. And even things that they wouldn't. So great people don't do great things when they're in fear mode. And so we just chose to kind of stay on the farm, stay out in the woods, and spend our time hiking and basically on our farm. And our farm became sort of a center or a hub where people noticed that actually for the first time since I have made all these changes and lifestyle choices, people noticed the why behind the way we live. And honestly, it was kind of a nice thing for us because people question this. Why do you have animals? Why do you not have TV service? Why do you not have normal internet? Why do you, do all the things? Why do you work so hard? Why do you have a big, huge garden and all that stuff? So fortunately, I didn't even have to answer the why. It just proved itself through that year. Well, obviously things have not really settled down. Inflation is crazy. We had a pretty good year last year, not really with the garden, but just financially it was a little bit of a easier year, I would say. We don't really have a lot of money. That was the one of our sacrifices that we made so that I could stay home, was just living off of one income. And we're really blessed to be debt free, which I think helps a tremendous amount. We don't have a whole lot of expenses. Our house is paid off. So that is really a huge blessing and one of the ways that we're able to do what we do. So I have intentionally started, prepper is too strong of a word, but I definitely believe in being prepared, being well stocked. Let's just put it that way. That and I don't by any means think that everybody should do this, although I think it's beneficial for people to do this. So my goal, I shared with you a long time ago in a video quite a while ago at the beginning of the year, was that I simply wanted to cut out packaged seasonings from the grocery store. And while yes, that is still on my list, and we certainly have not relied on packaged seasonings from the grocery store really at all since I made that video, my goal has expanded a little bit, maybe a lot of it. So I've kind of made it my goal, and I don't necessarily have a specific timeline, and it's not a hard, fast rule, but I really want to become less reliable on the grocery store, and if I can, cut it out entirely. Now, that might seem like a crazy thing, but I have some good tips and pointers on how, which is why I'm making this video for you. So why am I doing this, and how can you do this, and why should you guys do this? So this is not I'm not condemning anybody who still chooses to go to the grocery store every day. This has nothing to do with that, so don't get the wrong idea. This is just what's going to work for our family, and I think it's going to work a lot better, especially with our children moving into, dare I say, preteen years. Yeah, I'm not even going to say the actual teen word yet. Not going to happen. So let's talk a little bit about the things that I've bought and why we are going to cut out the grocery store. Something that I have tried to do over the last several years is be more intentional about the trash I'm bringing into my house. And by trash, I mean packaging. Everything that we buy in individual packets and plastic containers like these pasta, the smaller we buy it, the more packaging we're bringing into our homes. Now, while I do not believe that the Go Green or Footprint or any of those things are truly good intentioned, I think that the idea is right. To me, we believe in the Bible. We believe that our mandate at creation was to take care of this earth. And I believe that it is still, that's our mandate. We should be leading the world, our communities, our homes in making sure that we are utilizing the things that come into our home, and that we are being creators, and we're being builders, and we're not just solely being, like, we're being producers and not solely just being consumers. And so I realize this is pretty difficult, and one of the reasons that I have a slow timeline is because with children it can be a little bit more challenging, especially if they're not used to, or they have family members, or you guys have family members that don't live this kind of lifestyle. So that is why some of our rules or our lifestyle choices are a little bit more lax. I've found it's better just to kind of live a sort of middle of the row lifestyle rather than being so extreme, because it just makes it harder on the kids. And while I do believe it's great for kids to do hard things, I don't agree with making things so hard that they seem impossible or they're very discouraging. So, and that's definitely my advice to you guys too, is don't make your rules so hard fast that it makes it impossible or no fun. This has been a very gradual shift over about 15 years for my husband and I, maybe even 20 years. It's been quite a long time since we've been learning and growing and doing all of the things that we're doing. So if you are just coming out of a packaged lifestyle where, or even a fast food lifestyle where you eat out all the time, make a meal a week at home, or make a meal a month at home, or instead of eating fast food, go box mixes for a little while until you get used to that, and then branch out from there and see if you can make those box mixes at home, and just take one step at a time. So reducing waste and what I am bringing into my home as far as trash goes is very important to me. Like today, I chose to not get plastic bags. I chose to go with paper because we can use this paper in our garden. We use it underneath our mulch, and it kind of blocks the weeds and the grass from growing. It's nice and thick, so that's one way we can use this. We can also just throw it on our burn pit and burn it. We can use it as a bag. These ones don't have handles, which makes them a little bit more cumbersome, but it's easy to get rid of this on our own farm, to let it degrade on our farm. And then sometimes I do still get plastic bags because we reuse them in all kinds of ways, just all kinds of ways. And so occasionally I will choose to go with that, but this is kind of one of our switches over the last year or so, is getting paper or cardboard wherever we can. Now, a cardboard box like this, we can't really use it in our garden because it doesn't break down very well, but we will just put this on our burn pile and we'll burn it. My goal is to stop letting things leave my home and go to someone else to deal with. My goal is to not put anything else in a landfill. Now, that's a lofty goal, I get it, especially if you're not like completely contained on your farm, and I don't even necessarily believe in being totally self-sufficient or self-contained entirely. I don't actually think that's even a real achievable goal, because we need each other. And I think if 2020 taught us anything at all, it's that we need community and we need each other. So I do believe in worldwide commerce, but I believe in supporting small business. So the smaller the business, the easier it is to hold each other accountable and have good practices. So I don't have any problem, importing vanilla or cinnamon or, things that we can't grow within America. But if we can grow it within America, I believe that we should be supporting that first and foremost. I don't want this video to be like incredibly crazy long with all of my opinions. That's not my goal today. I just wanted to share with you something that I'm doing and something that maybe you guys might like to think about doing for yourselves. Okay, so reducing waste, reducing trash coming into our farm, that's reason number one. Reason number two is cost. Buying little tiny packages of things, you have to pay for the packaging. Packaging is not cheap. And honestly, right now, it's super hard to come by. So if you can order, and I know that the cost seems daunting at the front end of it, but if you plan and you plan your grocery budget out correctly, if you plan your grocery budget out in a way that makes it easy for you to have that extra cash up front, then buying something in bulk won't seem so crazy. So most of this shopping today is not bulk buying. I just bought a lot. So there is a difference in that, and I'll explain that in a second. But another way to do it is, instead of just like going crazy and buying like a huge amount of stuff, like if you have one jar of mayonnaise in your fridge, buy a second one for your cupboard. If you have one jar of mayonnaise in your fridge and you have one in your cupboard, buy a backup. So that's what I did today. I only bought one extra mayonnaise. My son loves mayonnaise. That's like his condiment of choice. And yes, I will be moving into making it on our own. I just haven't found the right recipe that he loves. So it's a little bit of a shift, and honestly, occasionally it's nice to have a little bit of a convenient food. Yes, I suppose we'll call it a convenient food. But there is a lot of things, especially in condiments, that are not great foods. If you even want to call them foods, most of them are just products. So we are making a distinction in our family and in our home and our lifestyle between products and food, and what the difference is between those. So maybe I'll do another video on that. If you're interested in going down that road with me, let me know in the comments. So that's another way that you guys can just start building up your living pantry, and then make sure that you're rotating. The oldest stuff goes first. You get to use that first, so then food never goes to waste. I do not like wasted food. It makes me not happy. Especially when you're working hard for it. To me, wasted food doesn't count if it goes to another animal on our farm, because eventually that animal will repay us with either food or meat or milk or compost even for the garden. So that's not what I mean. I just mean like completely throwing it out into the trash. That is wasted food to me. So, or, you know, where it just like sits on your shelf for 10 years and then you never use it and you have to throw it away because it's expired. I try really hard to stay away from that. That's why I call my pantry a living pantry. Let's talk about the how, okay? As I said, you don't have to get hung up on, you know, ordering huge things from Costco or huge things from Azure Standard is where we go to those places a fair amount, and then we go to like a restaurant supply place as well for bigger items, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to go crazy. You can just go and get, like this time I decided I needed to stock up on pasta. Now this isn't a lot. It's not going to see us through for a year by any means, but it's a start. So I went ahead and bought all the different types of pasta that we use in our house, and my goal will be to start limiting the types and varieties of things in order to be able to make them from scratch. So for now, this is our convenient food pasta. I don't even know how to make pasta. I'm gonna learn, but for now I just went ahead and stocked up and bought, you know, several bags of the ones that we use the most and just a few things of the ones we use not so much. And honestly, I didn't even go crazy because I only bought one box of lasagna noodles. I only bought one bag of spaghetti noodles, but it is a start. So those are my backups. I have one bag in the pantry right now, and then and we're just gonna start building up our pasta supply. Some of this stuff is just extra. I always keep lemon juice on hand. No, I don't think this is the best thing to use, but it's something just to keep on hand and use for canning season. You know, extra bags are always great. I forgot I did look at Costco. They didn't have any, and I forgot while I was at the other store, so I did just get a small thing of sunflower seeds, which we like on our salads. I'm trying to incorporate some salad toppings. I'm not a huge fan of salad toppings. I just use salad. I don't mind, especially from the garden. But the kids, especially my oldest, he's not a big fan of salad. He has no problem telling you that. He has no problem telling me that. But I make him eat salad anyway and his greens, and he enjoys it a lot more if he can have some kind of salad topping. So I'm good with that. I did buy them out of their Sure Gel for jelly making. Anyway, so that's kind of my normal shopping things. I bought this for a fun treat for tonight's dinner because I thought my kids and my mom especially would appreciate it because we've been working pretty hard lately. Something that you're gonna need when you start bulk shopping is buckets, especially if you live in a log cabin like we do, or the woods where mice are prevalent. We have to have some kind of storage jar for our big items, and pasta, the mice will just come through and they will love to eat as much as possible. So we have pretty much eliminated our rodent problem at this point. We've got 3 cats, and just through changing different ways of storing things, it seems to be pretty good right now. Fingers crossed it stays that way. I really don't like mice. So in fact, I'm really not a big fan of rodents per se at all, but I do feel like God made them, so they have a place, they have a purpose. I just don't always love their purpose in my home. So a trick to buying buckets, because 5-gallon buckets and like gamma lids and stuff, while I think they're an excellent investment, if you have to wait and take one step first, check out your local grocery store, go to the baker's section, and then ask them if they have any frosting buckets for sale. So I have seen varying prices. It's usually very inexpensive. Today, I'm so excited I asked because they had 5 buckets and snapping lids, which are kind of a pain to pull them off, but it's okay, for $1. They're not gallon buckets. They're about 4-gallon buckets or so. They're definitely not 5-gallon buckets. So they're between 3 and 4. I actually haven't measured it out. I just know what fits in these size buckets for my food. So anyway, these are an amazing way. So our plan is to store dry beans and pasta and flour and sugar. We do have a 5-gallon bucket for honey that I have available for adding something in, and I will buy more honey like that this year. And then yeah, so my suggestion too, so that's one way to save money. And another way to save money is if you actually buy food in a 5-gallon bucket, or even a smaller bucket works really well, but buy food in reusable containers, because then you have them and you can not have to spend extra money on them. And oftentimes it's a lot cheaper because you get the bucket with the food, and it seems to me like you end up getting free food that way, because if you bought the bucket by itself, it's like $7, and the Gamma lid's like another $7. So it's $14 minimum. That was the last time I priced them. So I would imagine prices are more expensive. So that's kind of a little bit about what we're doing right now. Our kids have been eating so much food, it's crazy. So I'm having to always expand our pantry bigger and bigger, and at some point our kids will grow up, which will be a hard day for me. Fortunately, it happens one day at a time, but then we'll have to learn how to shrink our pantry back down a little bit. Let's talk about my sort of game plan for cutting out the grocery store. How are we going to go about cutting out the grocery store? Well, one obvious way is to grow it yourself. So we do have an 1.5-acre garden / food forest. It contains herbs and flowers, edible flowers, and of course all kinds of fruits and vegetables. So because our garden is not a typical inline, row garden, we do get a good amount of harvest out of it, but we don't get enough. So we also go to fruit stands or local people, and we'll purchase the extra fruits and veggies that we can't grow ourselves, or the varieties that don't grow well here, or we just don't grow enough of them yet. Doesn't mean we won't in the future, but for now we still need the food, and so we do that. If you buy your food in season especially from local growers, it doesn't necessarily make it cheaper. Buying it in season definitely makes it cheaper, but the quality is not comparable to anything you're going to get at the grocery store. Varieties, taste, flavor, price, you can't even buy it. You can't buy it at because they can't ship it. So that's one way that we're cutting out the grocery store there. We have purposed strawberries were the very first crop I said, no more, we're not buying these out of season, and we're not buying them from the grocery store. So we always buy a year's worth of strawberries, which up until last year was about 2 gallons of every single kind of fruit that we store. And now my children are just so big and older that they eat so much food that that's no longer enough. So we are upping that as much as our freezers can allow, and that's fine. So this year we went to a U-pick place, and our strawberries here on our farm definitely produced more than they have in the last few years. So we froze a whole bunch of strawberries, probably 3 gallons, and we may go back. The U-pick farm does have a different variety that continues to produce, so we'll see if we choose to do that this year. So that's definitely one way that you can cut out the grocery store, is buy local and do it that way. Another way is that you can just go to a bulk place, somewhere like Costco or a restaurant supply. I know a lot of people like Winco, or there's even Azure Standard. And I'm not an affiliate for any of these things. I just wanted to share this with you. I thought you guys might be interested, since I'm interested. So you can purchase bulk sugar and flour, which is what I have sitting here. I don't think you guys can even see the flour. It's there, it's underneath. See, brown bag. And so you can just purchase more things like that. And again, you're not paying for the extra packaging, so it ends up being cheaper in the long run. Now, I don't actually believe that everything is just about cost. I think that it's about quality. So even though if you order things from Azure Standard, no, you won't be saving money, especially if you've been going to the regular grocery store. You likely won't save any money, because you'll be feeling that quality growth, and so it does feel a bit more expensive. But in the long run, if you compare it to having great quality food versus going and paying for medical assistance because you're eating terrible quality food, I think that actually you'll find it ends up being a lot cheaper. Way cheaper to buy better food than to pay for medical care. Definitely. So that's another way you can do it. And then I highly suggest that if you are buying, like, obviously this is just normal enriched white flour pasta. It's not that great for you. My kids, I keep trying, you guys. I've tried so many times to get them to like different, like better for them pastas. So I think that we're just gonna have to make it from scratch because they don't like it. They really, really don't like it. I would rather cook from scratch, cook from home, cook good homemade meals that they enjoy, and rather than pushing them to like hate it when they're adults. That's not my goal for sure. So I think that probably wraps it up for the how, the why, what my plan is here. Like I said, I don't have a timeline. I'm not going to constrain our family within a timeline. My goal is just to keep moving toward cutting out the store. So today, yes, I did go to our regular local grocery store. We went early, and instead of purchasing just one of each item or smallest one, I purchased the biggest one I could, and I purchased many of the same items, and just continue building up my pantry. So it is still an intentional grocery shopping trip to go with our goals in mind to the grocery store. Now, yes, it is challenging. Do not even get me wrong here. Yes, I had my 3 children and they were like, Mom, can I have this? Mom, can I have that? Mom. They did pretty good, but it's hard. It's hard when there's like so many shiny, pretty packages right in their face, and they're used to going to the grocery store like that. And yes, I could just go by myself, but I don't want to. I want to teach my kids that this is a better way, and that, if we can't get it from the store, it's not really a problem because we probably have it on our shelf, or we can do without. That's the third way. I forgot to tell you guys this. Another way that you can cut out the grocery store is change what you're eating. Now, I'm not meaning live on beans and rice. In fact, the thought of living on beans and rice make me cringe. I like rice, I like beans, but that is not like a staple in our home. It's like we eat it every once in a while. I don't want to live in survival even if crazy stuff happens. And that's why I don't necessarily call myself a prepper, because I don't think that we can ever necessarily be prepared for whatever comes. So my best things to be prepared for or plan for is a long power outage with a crazy winter. I don't want to live my life in fear. I want to live my life empowered, and I want to teach my children to live empowered. And when you don't have to freak out because everyone else is freaking out at the store because you already have your pantries full, then you don't have to freak out. And I truly believe that no matter what happens, God's going to take care of us, and we're going to be okay. And so I try to just live in that mentality and not conform to the terrified mentality. Plus, I don't want to just live in survival. I want to thrive in survival times. And what I mean by that is beans and rice are not an option in my house. We will eat every flavored bean we could imagine before it's just a plain bean and plain rice. We will have every herb. That is one of the reasons I grow so many different herbs, because they equal flavor. Herbs are the flavor of life, guys. So I'm not going to get on any more of a tangent, but I just wanted to say that if you change your diet and you don't go buy 50 kinds of pasta at the grocery store, you just buy one, your chances of being able to make that one pasta, or you change your taste to be like, I can make this kind of pasta at home, and you do that and you just make the one kind of pasta and that's what you live on, that's great. Then you don't have to go to the grocery store for the 50 or 49 other kinds of pasta you buy. I don't know. We buy like, what, there's got half a dozen here maybe. So my goal, you know, is to cut that number down even further. Can we make spaghetti? Probably. Can we make lasagna? Probably. Could we make egg noodles? Definitely. Macaroni noodles might be a little bit more challenging. I have no idea. I haven't made pasta yet. It's on my list. And the same thing goes for other foods. Like if we can't grow it here, maybe we ought to not be eating it so much. So we just limit the amount we're eating. Obviously I don't have a salt mine on my property. So where do I need to be putting my money? I need to buy salt, cinnamon, vanilla beans, you know, things like that you really can't get here. And then the question is always, do we need this in our diet? And I will prove it to you guys. I will prove how committed I am to this. Come on. There is a rare video where I am not drinking a cup of tea, and you guys know how much I like tea. This is how much I am committed to not relying on it. Have you ever heard of Ivan chai? Ivan chai is the original tea that was fermented and imported to England from Russia. Okay? I am making my own Ivan chai. It is not caffeinated black tea. Okay? I'm going to put that out there for all of my English friends here and anyone who might be a tea snob like me. No, this does not taste exactly like black tea. However, it can taste pretty darn good and can be used like black tea. So if there was a scenario where I just said, I'm all done buying that, I'm not gonna buy tea anymore, I am getting prepared now. So we started, this is a really fun process. If you guys are interested in me making a video on this, I do have a blog post on it. I'll leave that link down in the description box for you guys to my website, and then go to my blog, and it's Ivan chai or fireweed tea. And we also have just this big basket here of fireweed leaves drying, and I will continue filling up this jar to make my Ivan chai out of it. I have done this, I think I did this 1 or 2 years ago. I can't remember now, but it is really amazing. So, see, just so you know, super committed to this, you guys. Do you have to do this? Absolutely not. Do you have to join me? Absolutely not. Do you have to be a prepper? Nope, you really don't. My take on it is that you can't help anybody else in survival if you're not prepped. See? You can't get away from using that word. I really don't like that. I don't know what to do about that. Oh well. Give me some different words, you guys. Leave them down in the comments for me. What can I call myself that's not like a true prepper, guys? Maybe I am a prepper and I'm just in denial. I don't know. Give me your opinion. Am I just in denial? Leave it in the comments. Anyway, I don't know about you, but the thought of being in a scenario where I can't help somebody makes me cringe. I like helping people. I like being able to share. And I know, especially if you're from my area, if you're from Idaho, I feel you guys. I get it. We are very independent. We strongly believe what is mine is mine. But you guys, that's not necessarily the healthiest mentality. That's not the best mindset. We need each other. We can't live without each other. We can't live. We were built to be in community. We were built to live together. And if something goes down where, you know, we don't have power, or, you know, where war breaks out, or, you know, we can't access modern conveniences, I don't hope for that. And I would challenge you that if you are excited for some kind of grid down scenario, like, why are we excited? Why do we crave that? And maybe you guys don't, but that's how it feels to me. It feels like that's what we're craving for. We're craving for the end, for everything to just disintegrate and blow up and be crazy. But man, if you think about that and the amount of loss of life that's not that. Oh, it's just so sad to me. So, if something happens and someone shows up at my doorstep, I want to be able to welcome them and say, what's your skill set and how can you help? You can't come and live a free ride here, but you certainly can come and help, and many hands make light work. So that's today's video, you guys. Thank you for joining me. I know it's a little bit of a different video for me and maybe than you guys are used to, but I just felt like you might want me to share that with you. So, no, it's not easy. It's not easy to live different. In fact, I've really been struggling with it lately, which is hard to believe given the last couple of years. It's hard to believe that I'm struggling with it. It's very proven at this point. It's proven that this is a great lifestyle to live. So, if you are wanting to live the homesteading lifestyle, or if you're wanting to live off-grid lifestyle or something of that sort, and you haven't taken the plunge yet, I encourage you just to go for it. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. It's not a big deal. It's only a big deal if you don't learn from those mistakes. So make mistakes, get out there. You are welcome to live vicariously through this channel. Go for it. Or any other YouTube channel, but it's never going to be the same as if you just get out there and you do it yourself. What does a goose feel like when you're petting it? What does a chicken feel like when it's just hatched? Less than an hour, less than 24 hours ago, and you get to move that little cute life form to its little brooder home and care for it, and it's so fluffy, and you don't even get to see what it looks like when you buy them, as day-old chicks from a Tractor Supply. What does it taste like when you pick produce from your own farm? The flavor is incomparable to anything that you're going to buy at a grocery store. It's just it's hard. It really is hard. It's not easy, and I'm not going to lie, but it is so worth it. You will never want to go back. Actually, if you don't go slow and make small goals that are doable and achievable, then you might want to go back, because it is really hard. But I know you guys have it in you. I know you can do it. And if that's what your dream is, then I bless you in that. And yeah, so that's kind of my spiel for today. My soapbox maybe a little bit. But I appreciate you guys joining me. I appreciate you hanging out. And cheers to many more cups of tea together. See you guys next time.